just gonna start talking and pretend I know how to do an intro. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first ever series on the Because We Were Bored channel.
Yes, sir.
This is so exciting. This is our new series, Game and Talk. This is going to, well, I guess I'll give a little background. I realized it's very hard sometimes to crank out good videos all of the time. So I thought, well, what if there was a very minimalistically edited series where you get some good old-fashioned Because We Were Bored content, but it's unedited and we can get it out more regularly. Right, Chet? Because you would agree, we're not very
We
good at
know that y'all been craving for content and that we have not been giving you any content.
Yeah, a
So,
little bit. So this is going to be a podcast sort of sound like feeling series where there's a game on the screen, as I'm sure you can see, or you can't, I don't know. And you can hear mine and Chad's voices, but the two will probably not correlate too much. So this is the sort of thing you can throw on in the background, because I know I really like videos that I can just sort of pop on in the background. So that's what this is supposed to be. So it's going to be the same sort of formula for every episode, where Chad and I have both brought forth a topic of conversation. We are going to start talking about one topic of conversation, let that lead us down any rabbit trails and tangents it may. Whenever we reach a roadblock in the conversation, the next person will bring up their topic and we'll talk, and however long the video is how long the video is, and then we'll put the audio together and put it out on YouTube. So if you don't like it, don't watch it. But if you want some content, this is some quick, just very, very raw content for you to have, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are, first episode of the series. Um, I do you want to start with my topic or your topic, Chet?
You could with your topic.
Okay. I want to talk about dreams. And I will admit, I got this idea from my favorite podcast, Treehouse Talks. You can check out that one on Spotify or anything. I did the profile art for it. Little uh humble flex. Um, so they talked about dreams recently, and I wanted to weigh in on the conversation, but not with them because they live in a different part of Indiana.
I'm interesting.
And Chad's more fun to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
So Chad, we are roommates.
Yeah.
Chad and I live in the same dorm at college. You dream a lot.
I do. I
Yes,
do.
you've told me I don't dream as much as you, but every time I have a dream, I write it down in a little notes app on my phone so I can remember the few dreams I do have, like clearly. So I thought we could just start by tossing back and forth dreams that we've had.
Okay.
My dreams either make zero sense at all, or they are like, in my opinion, narrative, like masterpieces are a strong word, but they're like very like coherent and very interesting like stories.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, a few summers, I think it was maybe it was 2 summers ago. Whenever it happened, I binged like the entire series of Stranger Things. Or not the series in one day, but I binged most of season 2 in one day. And so this gave forth to me having a Stranger Things themed dream where I like invented my own episode of the show, and it was pretty epic, if I do say so myself.
All right.
So imagine if I do say so myself. So imagine with me, Chad. All right, are you
I'm
imagining?
imagining. I'm
Okay.
imagining.
So this episode of Stranger Things, it like opened and the whole crew, I started with the crew, but then eventually just became like the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just the POV. The crew started in like the back of a car. I want to say it was like whatever car was the family car in the 80s. I want to say it's like an SUV, but I don't think that's real. I don't know about cars. Don't at me. And they were like driving, and they're like another. Chad, you don't know Stranger Things, right? Not too much.
I know. I've only seen the first 2 seasons, and
Okay,
I
then you'll
barely
know.
remember even those.
Well, then you'll be able to track enough with me on this one. So in this like episode, quote unquote, they were like, we got to close. A new gate opened into the Upside Down, and we got to get it closed, or else the Demogorgons are going to come and they're going to eat our families, as Demogorgons are prone to do. So in this dream, the new portal opened inside a water park. Oohs and ahs, because so there was not only was it in a water park, but there was something that my brain dubbed the Demoraptors, where in season 2 there are Demodogs, which are just like four-legged creatures with the flower face of a Demogorgon. Well, these were like velociraptor bodies with the flower face of a Demogorgon.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, we got to sneak inside the whatchamacallit, the water park, but there's a bunch of Demodogs or Demoraptors crawling around in there. And so then the entire episode was just them like running through like the slides of the water park. And it was pretty cool. And
You're just really patting yourself on the back for this
well, you're
dream that you
giving me a
came
lot
up.
of audio feedback, so I really feel like I need to fill the dead
Listen,
space.
there's not a lot of that's pretty cool type of thing. I mean,
You could
cool,
actively say that's pretty cool.
cool, cool dream, Sam.
Thank you,
Just
Chad.
personally, as a person who does not watch a lot of Stranger Things, I find it hard to care. You know,
You
and that's
know,
nothing
I
against you.
listen. I get it.
That's nothing against you.
I get it. I get it. I
And I
get it.
like the concept of Dema Raptors. That's a fun concept.
All right, now, Chad, tell me about one of your
One
dreams.
of my dreams. Okay. So as Sam has talked about, I dream a lot. So one thing that I've dreamed about was I remember once I was because my dreams are also a little like it could either be super out there or super just like tame and normal.
Uh-huh.
Like I could have like this is a dream that I had. This isn't going to be my dream that I'm going to talk about, but because it's very tame and normal.
Uh-huh.
But I remember I had a dream where I literally just like woke up, went to my drawer, and I was like, "Oh, these shorts have pockets in them. They typically don't have pockets in them." And I was like, "Whoa, they have pockets!" And that was the entire dream. Nothing crazy, nothing like whatever, but just like little tiny, just like whatever.
Just pockets.
I think the last dream I had, I literally just like texted somebody, and that's literally my entire dream. But the one dream that I had that was a little bit kind of scary actually. So the Muppets, right? Or like Sesame Street's like
Well, yeah.
characters. I had a dream where I was watching one of my brother's basketball games, and like those little bleachers, like the school bleachers type of thing.
Yeah.
We were just sitting there, and then this one puppet was like in the very back. I was in the front bleacher. It was in the very back, and its
Mhm.
arms extended all the way to the front, and just held around my waist the entire time.
Do you slow danced with a Muppet in your
No, no, no,
dream?
no, no, because I was just in
Oh.
the bleachers. I was just enjoying the game, and this puppet would randomly laugh, like in random intervals, just be like, and like.
Uh.
But the thing is, every time it laughed, it would tickle me.
Oh.
So every single time it laughed, it would just like make me just like, cause like
Uncomfy.
it's less of like uncomfortable, but just like you don't when you get tickled, there's a point where you're just like stop.
Yeah, there's a point where you're like, this is not fun anymore.
This isn't fun. This is torture. But like it just kept going. It just kept going, and it just kept going. And then at some point, the monster just stopped, stared at me, and then just like. And like it opened its mouth and like its face just went straight towards my point of view and then I woke up.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
That's
no.
spooky. Have you ever had reoccurring dreams?
Yes, yes.
I
Do you ever have dreams where you it reoccurs enough for you to recognize that it's a
Yes,
dream?
this is listen, that has happened to me once, and that was going to be the next dream I talked about, where it's one of those, it's a combination of like weird, but also like it has a plot to it.
Mhm,
So the only reoccurring dream I've ever had was a reoccurring nightmare, which made it just way worse because
mhm.
I like knew how it would end. So the nightmare that I had was it was in like whatever building Fazbear Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Wow.
Three, the
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 three, the
Fazbear
Fazbear
Frights.
Frights.
Yep, yep,
So it was
yep.
like that room with like the glass on the one side,
Mhm.
if I'm thinking of the right thing. And so in this dream, I was on like a tour through this like science building that happened to look exactly like
Okay.
Fazbear Frights.
Yeah.
And so the guy in charge was like, Yes, everybody stay with the group, stay with the group. We don't want to get anyone lost. All right, we're gonna now make our way into the room with our most like prized experiment. Like this is our best experiment.
Uh-huh.
And they called it this is the dumb part of the dream. They called it the female creeper, as in like Minecraft creeper.
Oh.
So they were like, we're gonna go see the female creeper. And I was like, oh boy, like I'm here on a sign exhibit. I'm gonna get to. So then they like led me. There's like that door on the far left of like the Fazbear Frights room
Yeah.
in FNAF. They like took us through that door. And like I walked through the door, and then it was just a long, like metal paneled hallway, and that was it. And all of the other people disappeared into a room of like them watching me.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like in this room, and I look, and there what it's really dumb that it was called the female creeper because the only thing that made it a creeper was it had like the face of one. So like the dark black eyes and the gaping black mouth. But it was other than that, just a normal looking like girl in a pink skirt, a white shirt, and a pink like zip up sweatshirt unzipped, and like long blonde pigtails. And this thing would turn around with like this gaping mouth and then just like slowly float in the air and then just started floating at me.
Oh.
And
Like very
as
like slowly like intimidating, just like
Yes, and
okay.
as it
Yeah.
floated at me, all of the room behind it like sucked in toward it and like crushed. And like as it's slowly floating toward me, I'm like messing with the door, like trying to get out, and I couldn't. And then
Oh
right
my
before it
God.
got me, I woke up. So what would happen was I had this dream like every night for a few weeks.
Every night?
Yeah, I don't know why. And like it would never wake me up early. Like I would never like lose sleep over this dream,
Mm-hmm.
but it would always like scare me awake. And it got to the point where I'd start realizing like, oh crap, he's taking me into the room. I can't go in there or I'll die. And so I would try to wake myself up so I could feel my real life body like flexing, like trying to like shake myself awake, but
Yeah.
I could not wake up until the thing got me every night. And it made it so much scarier because it added like a timer onto everything of like the gentle like, all right everybody, we're going into the next room. And I was like, no, like I can't, like shaking. It was horrible. I
Oh my
started like
gosh.
yeah, it was only time I've ever had a reoccurring dream, and it was a horrible experience.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever had a reoccurring
I
dream?
have. Mine was also a nightmare. Well, I have two. Can I share two?
Yes.
Okay, so one was a nightmare where it was genuinely very, very scary. Where I would be in this open field in the middle of the night with like a giant gate, and I was young, so I was like really small.
Did you say a giant gate?
Like, well, a giant fence. Sorry,
Okay, okay.
stone fence, stone
Sorry, I'm
wall.
trying to get the right because when you said gate, I was just imagining like open field and then just like a stone gate in the middle of it.
Just there, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, so like just like around me, and there was like, and I was like in a grass field kind of, and there was a building behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So out of that building comes out a giant nutcracker, and the nutcracker would go up to me and grab me and bring me into the building. And that would be the end of the dream for like once it takes me and grabs me, it takes me into the building. But the thing that was the worst is that like I think maybe the second or third time, I literally ran up to the fence and I was like, I need to get out, I need to get out. And my mom was standing there. And I was like, Mom, 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 help me, Mom, help me. And then the Nutcracker took me and started dragging me away. And my mom just watched the whole time as this Nutcracker just dragged me into
Oh
this building.
no.
So that was one recurring dream.
So that's the only recurring dream you've had is
No,
just your mother
no,
betraying you.
no. No, my other reoccurring dream where I got like really big brain and because my reoccurring dream, yours like enhanced your fear. Mine just like made me braver. Because the
Oh.
first time I had the dream, I was like, oh no, so basically, I would always start out in our high school,
Mm.
and there would be like this portal in the wall, and I'd walk into the portal, and then I'm just like in this specific hallway where I'm being chased down by some monster, and I would always like get caught, like each time. So I had this dream maybe like 4 or 5 times, but the
Mm.
last time I had the dream, I went through the portal. No, I looked at the portal. I was like, if I go through here, I'm gonna get chased down by a monster. This is the dumbest thing ever. And then I go through the portal, and then the monster starts chasing me down. I'm just like, oh no, 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 and I'm running. I'm like, wait, this is a dream. The fastest way to get me out of this dream is to turn around and jump into the monster. So I literally stopped, turned around, and ran into the monster, and then woke up. And I never had that dream again.
You faced your
I
fear.
faced my fear.
Good job, Chad.
Yes, yes.
There was a friend of ours from high school who I think she said it was a reoccurring dream, but she said she would have a dream where she would watch the yellow M&M from the M&M commercials, like the fat dumb one,
Yeah.
and he would have like all of our like us, like the two of us and like our other high school friends. He would have all of us like tied up over a pit of lava, and he would just slowly drop us all in one by one as she watched helplessly, and that was her reoccurring dream. And so she just had forever like this slight hatred of the yellow M&M. It was either
You
okay,
killed all my
so
friends.
it was either our friend Natalie or our friend
I
Jonah. I
think
can't
that sounds like Natalie.
It
I think
sounds
that's
like Natalie, but
Natalie.
as I was telling it, I feel like I remembered Jonah telling me. It was one of the two of
Uh,
them. I'm sorry if I Jonah, I'm sorry if it was you and I don't remember. I swear that I listen. I just get confused. Um, I actually don't know if Jonah watches our content. He better.
no, this it's too far in. People usually drop out by this
That's
point.
true. People usually get about 2 minutes in and then give up. Um, I say give one more dream, one more nightmare. I'll start. I don't get a lot of like dreams. Like
Uh-huh.
most of the time when I dream, it's a nightmare. I'm going to quickly take to my notes app to try and like find a good dream.
This
So
gives me
Chad,
time to think of my own
oh, okay,
dream.
you're thinking.
We can
Here, let
be.
me I'm pulling it up. Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
um.
Um the first thing I have written on this dreams list is evil female creeper. Oh, okay. This was a dream that I had when I was like 2, and
Okay.
I just remember. So my dad had an N64 in college that still works to this day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Right.
so I grew up playing N64 even though like I grew up in the age of like GameCube and Wii.
Mhm.
I'm a Nintendo boy. At me, PC and Xbox people. Um,
There goes
there goes,
our whole.
dang it. But yeah, I grew up playing a lot of N64, one of which my brother and I would play a bunch of Smash Bros for the 64. And in the intro to this like Smash Bros 64, there's like one of the first like clips in the intro is like all of the characters just like running.
Right.
So I had this memory. I'd play that. I'd play Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time were my like the games I would play. So I had this dream where I woke up in my like childhood home and I was like, "Huh, I can't find any of my family." So I'd like look around for them and I'd walk downstairs and our old house had like a staircase and then you'd like turn the corner at the bottom of it and there was a long hallway that like had doors branching off and at the end of it was like our open family room.
Mhm.
So I like turn the corner, I look down this hallway and I see at the end of it was like it was a creature that looked like Bowser, but it had like moss growing off of it, so it looked like it had like shaggy hair and like moss growing off of its shell.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's Mossy Bowser! Oh no, he must have like kidnapped my family, like he kidnaps the princess." And so I was like, "Oh, what am I gonna do?" And then like Link from like Smash Bros 64 like saunters up beside me and like looks at me and just gave like a smile and a thumbs up and I was like, oh. And I started like looking around and all of the characters from Smash Bros 64 were there and they're like all gave me like a thumbs up and I was like, let's do this. And we all just started like running down the hallway like they did in the intro and I was like, this is so cool. I'm gonna fight Bowser with all my favorite video game characters. And then I woke up. And so that is like the one dream I remember vividly. Like I
Uh-huh.
will never forget that dream until I do.
Until you do.
Until I do.
Logically speaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You always remember everything until you don't. So that was my dream. I feel like my other nightmare that was like very interesting was I had this nightmare. This one wasn't reoccurring. This one I just had once and it just like stuck with me
hmm
to the point that I will like remember it for a while. So I had this dream where I like was hanging out at my house. Everything started super normal with some of our friends named the Shindles. I think one of them watches these videos. Hi, Grayson, if you're watching.
Sam, you can't just name drop people on this channel.
Chad, no one's made it this far. I can name drop people when no one's made it this far. So he and his family were all over. We're all like hanging out, playing games, and they were gonna leave. So my mom was like, "Go upstairs and wake your little sister." She went upstairs, but she'll want to say goodbye. And so I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Like my little sister likes saying goodbye. Like not like it. She wants to make sure she says goodbye before you leave.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't like it, but she wants to make sure she says it. So I was like, that makes total sense. So I walk upstairs and she's like curled up like asleep because her bed was in the corner, but she was like in the corner of her bed, like she was as tucked back in the corner as she could get. I was like, oh, she's asleep. I'll wake her up and then she can just like crawl back upstairs when she's done and like fall back asleep.
Uh-huh.
So I walk up and I'm like, hey, Elsie. And I like tapped her and then her whole body inflated to like a balloon. Like, have you ever played like Rayman Legends?
A little bit.
Well, you know, like when you get hit in like the multiplayer mode, your character inflates and there's just like their hands and their feet are sticking out. She inflated like that and turned around and grew goat horns and had like giant goat, like square pupil goat eyes. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a demon. And then I like ran downstairs because I was like, I gotta get help. But when I got downstairs, all of my family had inflated like this too. And they were all just like floating at me. Like their little tiny hands just like shaking aggressively, like trying to grab me.
It's like the one power up from Super Mario World where Mario just becomes
Oh,
fat
yes,
and starts floating
exactly
at
like
you.
that sort of a like look.
Okay.
So I was like, oh gosh. So I ran over to my neighbor's house and I like was slamming on their door. I was like, let me in, let me in. And then like my neighbor opened the door and she like looked normal. And then once the door was open, she inflated and turned into one too. And then I woke up. And like that nightmare just like rocked me.
The nightmare where all Sam's friends and
Friends and family
family.
turned out to be demon goat
I was gonna say
inflatable
turned out to
balloons.
be fat, but yeah,
Oh,
you know that was.
it was a little more like I wasn't scared of the fact that they were like
Oh
inflating. I was scared
no!
of the fact that I was convinced they were literal demons like awakening.
Uh,
All right, Chad. Give me one of your weird
see,
dreams, and then one of
this
your.
this one is a very recent dream. A very recent dream. Uh, I had a dream here at college where I recently just like murdered a person. I don't know why. This isn't the first time I had a dream where I murdered someone either. I remember I had a dream where I murdered one of my friends from high school. And I was just like, dang, I feel so bad. Their parents are probably gonna be really sad or whatnot. But that's not what the dream is right now. That's
Okay.
not the current dream. The current dream is I just murdered a random person, so I didn't really care as much.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh, yeah. Obviously,
of course, of course. Um, and then I was like leaving. I was like, oh yes, I did it. I killed the person. And there's this rat just like on a table. And the rat was just like, I know what you did. And I was like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, you really know what I did? What you gonna do about it, huh? What you gonna do? You're just a little rat. And then he was like, I got all the evidence right here in my pocket. And I was like, atta boy. And then I walked out of the room.
you commended the rat
I
on like
commended the rat. He was
having.
like, I caught you. And I was like, you got me. Good job. Good job. And then I left. There was a little bit of I remember the feeling like because you feel things when you're dreaming.
Yeah.
I remember the feeling of just like a slight,
Confusion.
just like I need to leave. I'm so screwed. But just like my reaction was like, all right,
Like, good job, Mr. Rat, on
I'm
being
gonna go
able.
in hiding now. um, I can't. I really struggled to think of up another nightmare. I've had tons of
Do you want?
nightmares.
I have another dream story on deck if you want time to
There is this
think.
one nightmare I guess where I was I couldn't see anything and I couldn't move and it was weird because all that I felt all that I heard was heavy breathing. All I heard was and then I was like, oh my gosh. And then as and this dream lasted a little while too of just like not being able to see, not being able to move, and then suddenly arms started like wrapping around me,
Oh,
and then I woke up.
oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, it's
That,
not.
oh,
Yeah, no, no.
I'm not a fan of that, dude. That's uncool. Oh, oh, I'm like sitting here and I'm like,
Yeah, just no,
oh
no,
gosh, that's
no.
spooky.
I remember I woke up. I was like,
If I ever make a horror movie, I'm definitely taking that.
Oh, well,
I'll credit
you
you
better. It'll
somewhere.
it'll be like I won't even like acknowledge the movie existed, and they'll just be in the credits Chad for thinking of that one idea with the breathing
Ch
scene.
Chad for scaring me in college and inspiring me to make that one scene.
It was just not a fun dream, not a
No,
fun
that's
dream.
gosh. Oh, I just like I can't even think now. Like I just like keep thinking of like I'm gonna lay in bed tonight and my sheets are just gonna like that scene in The Conjuring where the kid's like in the
Yeah.
new Conjuring where he's like laying on the waterbed and you see like the hands start pressing through it. Like
Oh,
I'm just gonna be laying there and the sheets around me are just gonna like reach up and slowly start like reaching around me. Eh.
do you ever have dreams where you're just like going through the motions of your day? Like you just wake up and then your brain goes into dream mode and then pretends like you're getting up and getting ready for school and stuff like that.
I've had the freaking heartbreaking dreams of waking up, showering, getting dressed for school, and then I actually wake up and I'm like, what was even the point? Like, and then I'm just like
Why
sad.
couldn't I have dreamed of myself
Yeah, I'm
resting?
then sad for the rest of the morning because I'm like, I already did this already, and I'm just like upset and I
Like
like
I remember
stomp through
I
my
had a
morning.
dream where I literally did everything. Like I woke up and then I got ready, I ate breakfast, had to talk with my parents, got on my bus, started driving to school, and then I woke up and I'm like,
Oh,
no,
that's this
no.
that's how you know. Never mind. That was gonna be a stupid thing to say.
What are you gonna
Anyway,
say? What are you gonna
I
say?
was gonna say that's how you know Satan exists. It's because those kinds of dreams,
Yes, of course.
not the things like poverty and all like the real sad stuff in the world. It's when you have those dreams where you get up and get ready for school, and then you didn't
That's
actually
when you're
get up
getting a
and get ready
personal
for
attack.
school. That
Like
that's how you know spiritual warfare exists.
uh,
Um, I have one more dream, but it's boring, so I'm not gonna talk about it. Chad, what's your topic for the week?
well, my topic is about intrusive thoughts. Very original thought, all by myself, made it all on my own, just my own thought, my own thought. I came up with the idea of intrusive thoughts and nobody else.
No, absolutely
Nobody
not.
else. Nobody
Nobody
else.
else.
It was my thought, my idea, and I
I
want to talk about intrusive thoughts.
I started having an intrusive thought when we got to college.
Yeah.
So Chad and I are college freshmen. Chad and I went to a private Christian college that had like a dress code. So this has been like some of the first times I've seen people just like wearing whatever they want, which is like whatever. It and the biggest like thing I've noticed was at least when it was like cold outside, there are a lot of girls that wear crop tops, which is like whatever. It's whatever.
I
But
don't
I
like where this
started
is going.
what?
I don't like where this is going,
I
Sam.
started having these intrusive thoughts where I'd like walk through the dining commons and there would be all like girls would be like hunched over like texting on their phones or whatever,
Yeah.
and they'd be wearing crop tops, and so they would have this like strip of skin exposed on their back,
Hmm.
and it's like they're hunched over so like you can see like the spine, like it was right there. And every time without fail I passed one of them, my brain thought just poke them like on the back, like where there's just like exposed skin, just
Yeah.
because like what are they gonna do, like why, like turn to me and say why would you do that, and I would go I don't know, intrusive thought, and then walk away. Like I
What
that
do you mean? What do you mean? What are they gonna do?
get
What
mad
do
at
you,
me
you're gonna
exactly.
get canceled, my guy. It'll be
But
like,
that was an intrusive thought that like started like coming at me out of nowhere. Was I would just walk through the dining commons and see like four girls in crop tops, and every time just poke them on the back, and I'd be like no, and then my brain would be like come on, and I'm like no, and he's like fine, jerk, and then like I wouldn't do it.
I'm imagining there's like the devil on your shoulders, like poke him in the back, poke him in the back, and then you look at the angel, and the angel's just like,
It's just confused.
just this is just not a recording, so you can't see my face, but just like the most confused look, just the most like, what? Why is this even? Why are we? Why is this even like
Uh,
a debate here?
but I got. Do you think, Chad?
Yeah.
Here's my question for you. Here's my first tangent.
Okay.
If it was culturally acceptable, not that it isn't, but if it was like more like socially acceptable for dudes to wear crop tops, do you think you would?
No, maybe. No.
Is
Uh,
there any like
It
reason
doesn't
why?
sound comfortable. Like I feel like I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
Because I'm not, it seems more like a fashion thing. I'm not a fashion type of guy.
that's true.
Like I'm just like I will put on like a t-shirt and shorts and then call it a day. My mom recently bought me for my senior picks. She bought me a some ripped jeans. And I remember looking at them like this feels wrong for me to wear. Like nothing against the ripped jeans, but just like this just
Uh-huh.
seems not me. And
It just doesn't fit your
it doesn't fit
style.
my style. Like I'm more of a because it seems like I'm not a style guy. I put on whatever is in my closet.
Yeah,
It'll look very like
it'll look the way
it'll
it
look like
looks.
I literally just went to my drawer and picked up the first thing I saw because that's
Uh,
literally what it is. And like I'm comfortable with that like that aesthetic that that design. Is aesthetic the right word?
I believe the word you're looking for is aesthetic.
What's the word aesthetic mean?
I don't think aesthetic is a word. I think aesthetic sounds like the name of a villain from like a fantasy show.
Yeah.
Are you Googling
I'm
aesthetic?
hmm
I think you're just thinking of aesthetic.
sure. Aesthetic. Whatever. uh,
Well, so you would say no to the crop
no,
tops?
no to the crop
I don't
tops.
think I don't know.
I don't. It
I
doesn't seem comfortable.
I mean, here's the thing. Recently, I've started caring a little bit more about like what I'm wearing and like cuz I used to be the same sort of thing of like I put on just enough to not raise my mom's eyebrow when I left the house. Like if
Uh-huh.
I wore like something that didn't match, my mom would be like, "Samuel, you look like a buffoon. Like go do like." She would be like, "You can't wear like blue on blue. It looks weird. Go change into like a red shirt." Like she would give me like pointers like that.
And listen, she's a woman, so
True.
you gotta agree.
So my mom, like, I would wear just like I would wear jeans and the first character tee that I saw, and then maybe if I was feeling like crazy, a flannel on top to like I don't know,
Uh-huh.
layering. I've been told layering was like is a thing, or I guess layering is a thing I've learned since I've started caring more. But so like that's all I would wear. But now like recently, I don't know what got me like started on like caring more about what I wear. Maybe it was like I got tired of like people saying things of like, why would you wear a thing like that? I don't know. But anyway, I started caring more. I think because Chad, we've been working out. So I feel like if
This
I
is
got
true.
like as dumb as it sounds, like I've started wearing at least to work out, I've started wearing sleeveless shirts. I never did that before we started working out because I never felt like I was allowed to. Like if that makes any sense, my brain would be like, "You're not allowed to
Is
do
this
that."
going where I think it's going? Are you gonna say that you want to wear a crop top
I
just so you
don't
can
want
show off your
to, but
muscles?
I think I would. Like if it was allowed, I think I would wear a crop top to show off a six pack if I grow to like that point in our
Uh-huh.
fitness journey to where I get like a nice looking six pack. I think I would wear a crop top.
Listen, you know me. I'm comfortable with just taking my shirt off.
Pause.
You know me, you know me. Like I'll
Yeah,
just take off my shirt, you
not
know?
in public. I would like to emphasize, not in public.
No,
Chad's not
sometimes in
just like,
public. Sometimes in public.
but you're not like you don't walk into like the dining commons on
I don't
campus.
think I'm allowed to.
Exactly.
But
Like
like
that's what I'm trying to say is like when it's acceptable, you
when
do.
I'm allowed to be shirtless in public, I'll be shirtless in public. Well, not
Like at the
and
pool. Like at the pool.
well, no, not even just at the
Chad, I'm
pool.
trying to save you and you just keep like stopping
Not
me.
even strictly at the pool, but just like if I'm in like like if I'm like partying,
Uh.
like that shirt's coming off, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Anyways,
Anyway, so where was your story going?
well, I didn't really have a story. I just wanted to talk about.
You just wanted to say that you're like totally okay just taking your shirt off.
Yeah.
That's all you wanted to say?
Well, I mean, I guess yeah.
Any ladies out there? Chad's like you're looking for somebody. I can confirm Chad has been working out.
I have been working out, and you get to see it all the time. Never mind.
Anyway,
We're gonna
pivoting topic.
gotta update
Chad,
a little bit. Sink. Ah, yes. All right. Anyways,
Chad, what's your favorite intrusive thought that
I
you've
want to
had?
kiss people a lot. Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at me?
We were like, let's pivot. This conversation's getting weird. What's your intrusive thought, Chad? I just want to kiss people. Like,
No, just
I mean,
listen.
I'm not saying I don't.
Listen, it's not like a sensual type of thing. Like I need to kiss someone to feel alive. But it's just like
Uh,
when I'm like talking to someone, like I'm just like I could kiss this person.
that's true.
I remember my teacher sat me down and he literally looked at me and had this whole like this whole conversation with me and I just stared at his lips like for a while.
Chad, this is getting weirder the more you talk. I mean, I get what you say. Like,
And then I was like, and then I like you know like the moments where you're like you stop listening to them and you're like in your own thoughts.
uh,
Like I'm just like I could kiss this person. Like there's nothing stopping me from kissing this person.
yes,
Like right here, right now.
that's the same sort of thought. That's what I'm saying with the like the crop top thing. It's like there's nothing stopping me from just poking a person on the back. Like that's not like a crime.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I would get like slapped probably, but I wouldn't get like in
I'll get
trouble, I don't think.
canceled
And I
probably.
don't even know if that would like
No, you will.
maybe.
You will.
That's true.
It'll be blown out of proportion.
That's true.
Sam, you know what? Never mind.
Good job, Chad. Way to hold your tongue. Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
don't know. But like that's yeah.
I don't know. And it's just like I don't want to kiss them. I just
You just could.
I could. I have the ability to.
Okay.
I have the ability to.
Okay. I get that. I
Is
get
this gonna
that.
segue, Sam? Is there
Um,
anything?
my recent intrusive thought is I've realized that I can probably punch a person. Like when we're working
Right.
out, like I'm like, wow, I feel really alive and really strong. I could punch that guy in the face, and it would probably hurt. Like I'm not saying I'd win in a fight now. Like I'm saying like I could just rock up and be like, hey man, and just sucker punch him, and it would hurt.
Right.
Totally natural segue.
Sam-
Who do you think has the most punchable face in media? I want to talk about this because my answer is definitively correct and I'm standing on by it. But I want to hear your answer first.
The most punchable face.
Yeah,
in
like you look at a
media.
person and you just go, I could punch them in the face. Like I'm not going to say his name. I was recently in a student film this last weekend. It was very fun to be a part of. I'm going to not say what it was though, because I don't want to get this guy like in trouble.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I felt like the main guy had a very punchable face. Like I looked at it and I was like, I could just punch you in the face and no one would say I was wrong. Like everyone would be like, yeah, that was like that. Yeah, I would punch that face too. Like that sort of a feeling.
Did he have like the personality? Or
No,
anything?
like he was a super nice guy. He was very like enthusiastic and he was so excited to be in this movie. Like he was very cool, but I just kept thinking I could punch your face and I like it just seems like I should. It seems like I should punch you in the face. That.
Do you ever want to punch me in the face?
No, you don't have a punchable face.
Is it too handsome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you don't like there's people in the world who have a punchable face and you're not one of them. I think the person like in media, the person with the most punchable face is Greg Heffley from the first trilogy of live action Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies.
Not the fourth one.
Well, kind of the fourth one, but I never saw the fourth one.
Well, the fourth one just seems like I would punch the fourth one. I will say that. The OG Greg Heffley though, I'm not so sure.
Chad,
What?
if this was an edited video, I was thinking like say to put up if you listen, this video isn't going to be super edited. Google search Greg Heffley from the original Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and like I challenge you to tell me you would not punch him in the face on sight.
I dare you guys to Google Greg Heffley, his actor, and what he looks like now, and
Now,
tell
listen,
me,
no,
is that a
no.
kissable face?
Listen.
Let me know about that. That's what I want to know
Absolutely.
about.
Listen, I'm probably the straightest man you will ever meet. And I don't know if I'm like proud of that, but like I'm not ashamed of that. Like I am very straight. And I'd probably kiss Greg Heffley's like actor now. Like
No, listen, my intrusive thoughts would kick in, and I'd be like, I could kiss him, and then I would.
Man hit the glow up.
Dude.
Like, the biggest he probably has one of the biggest glow ups I have ever seen. Him, and I'm trying to think. I know there's somebody else who has a really big glow up, but I can't remember who they are. Chad, watch this. I'm gonna get our stats up. If you stuck around this long, leave it down in the comments who you think in media has the most punchable and the most kissable face. We're gonna get like 2 comments talking about that because this is gonna be one of our long videos, and our last long video
Yeah, but this is in the
underperformed
style.
like
You started the video
crazy.
in the first 3 minutes, which is what people usually watch. You advised them to just have it play in the background or
That's true.
whatever. You
I
made it
did do
like this
that.
is the podcast vibe, all right? So just grab a popcorn or not, don't grab popcorn. Maybe just wash some dishes, clean your room, do something productive while you listen to this podcast, but it's not really a
Yeah,
podcast. It's game and talk.
it's Game and Talk.
It's
The
game and
epic new
talk.
game show Game and Talk. But I think Greg Heffley has a punchable face. I want to like actively punch. Maybe it's because I hate his character in the movie,
Gotta be it.
but also like I just feel like I could punch his face, dude. I'm going to I'm gonna
Sam, he's a
quickly
child.
I'm gonna quickly Google search actors with punchable faces and see if anything comes up. Chad, talk about an actor that you think has a punchable face while I do this.
I can't think of anyone. I
And
can't think
fill
of
the
anyone
audio
with a.
space. Chad, with something that like people can
What?
like actors. Oh, I found it. Punchable face actors and actresses. Number 1 is Jake Paul. Listen, actor's a loose term on that one.
Yeah. I was thinking of YouTubers while talking about it.
Okay,
It's just I don't know I don't know about the YouTuber dramas and all that much.
True.
Like I just know of these faces. I don't know
Okay.
much about them.
Number with this is just a list of actors and they're rating them on a scale of 1 to 10 how punchable they are.
Okay.
I vote we just start going down this list and say if we agree or disagree.
Okay, we'll see.
All right. After Jake Paul, which is a perfect 10 out of 10 punchable face.
Of course.
I agree.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Pete Davidson with a 2.1.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Pete Davidson is the guy, he's on like SNL. If you saw trailers for the movie King of Staten Island, he's the main guy in that. I don't know, he's a comedian. I think it's higher than that, but I don't think it's super high. I'd say he's like a 5, personally.
Okay.
He's like a 5 punchable out of 10. The next one is Will Smith. And Will Smith is at 5.2.
I would not punch Will Smith.
I definitely don't think he's like a 0.
Yeah.
But he's not, I'd say he's like a 3. Like if I got into a fight with Will Smith, I would not hesitate to punch him.
Well, I mean, if I was in a fight with anyone, I wouldn't hesitate to punch.
But I feel like there's some people who just have a super kind face that if they like started hitting me, I would try to diffuse the situation.
That's
like
true.
With words
No, yeah,
instead of
you're
just,
right.
like,
You're right.
punching
You're
me.
right. You're right. You're
But
right.
like if Will Smith rocked up and like he was like, I'm gonna fight you, and then like slapped me on the stage of the Oscars, I'd probably just punch him back. Like
That's a very specific situation you just
yeah,
set
no,
up.
I'm just a creative mind like that. Like so that's where I think I'd say he lands on like a 3.5 up for me. All right, the next one is Taylor Lautner. I definitely look at this guy's face and I recognize his face, but I don't know. Here, Chad, I'm passing you my phone. It says he's a 7.7. I agree with that. I agree.
Taylor.
I mean, he's not like. Listen, I'm not saying there is no correlation between like ugly and punchable. Like there are some people that some people would classify as like attractive that I want to punch in the face.
Yeah.
Like
I do
Jake
not see.
Paul,
I don't
think,
feel the need to punch.
I think like Jake Paul has, as much as it makes me like throw up in my mouth to say it, he has all of the characteristics that classify someone as attractive. Like he's jacked, he has like nice cut hair, he's like strong jawline, like all that, but I still want to punch him in the face. I want to make his face less attractive. Taylor Lautner, it looks a little punchable. I don't know. Like I'd say that one lands at a 6. Not quite a 7, but a 6. All right. Oh, my phone screen. The next one's Matthew Broderick.
I do not know who that is.
Oh my gosh, they're wrong. Number 7 on this list is Chris Pratt, and they have him at a 3. Listen.
Sam stands Chris Pratt. I'm telling you this in advance.
I
Sam's
will
a
have
little
you know.
biased. He bought a Star-Lord helmet. He has
I
a banner of Chris Pratt's quote on his wall.
I love
He
Chad. Can
kind
you
of idolizes him.
listen? I don't idolize him. I
Mm,
respect him immensely. Can I speak for myself really quickly? Chris
sure.
Pratt is amazing. But like putting my biases aside, now that I actually look at it, he does have kind of a punchable face. And like I would never, ever in my life punch Chris Pratt. But I would understand if somebody else did. You know, like as I'm looking at, I think three is correct.
Okay.
I think three is correct. Like it's not like I'd feel bad
Yeah.
if I had to. But I think three is right. Like I'd definitely try to talk it out with Chris Pratt. But like if he punched me once, I'd try to talk it out. Punches me a second time, try to talk it out.
No, he'll
Punches
punch.
me a third time, I'd be like, okay, it's time to rock. Like I would like give in.
I feel like the first time you're like, oh my gosh, Chris Pratt just punched me in
That's
the
true.
face.
I would be. I'm talking like in an ideal world where I'm friends with Chris Pratt and I'm no longer starstruck by him. If it was like right now, I would let Chris Pratt like kill me probably before my brain registered you should do something because I would be so starstruck. I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's Chris Pratt. Oh, he just touched me. Oh my gosh, this. Oh, it's just like getting absolutely demolished. I would just like let it
I don't
happen.
know what you did to make Chris Pratt so upset.
Neither do I, but like if he started punching me, I don't think I'd do anything. Um, number six is Adolf Hitler, and they say it's a 6 out of 10.
Will have a punchable face than Adolf Hitler. I will say Adolf Hitler does not have a punchable face in my
No,
opinion.
he has a very like.
It's more. This is more based off of like who he is as a person. I think more than just like
I mean,
his
yes.
face.
What I would
His
like to.
face. It looks like a
Uh huh.
face. It looks like a face if I touched it. Like, well, not touched it. If I punched it, I just feel
I want to
like.
start by saying we at Because We Were Bored detest everything that Hitler did. Because wow, that was a bad person. I just want to make sure we get that out of the way. I don't think his face is punchable though. Like it looks like I would need to punch him in the face, but like it would hurt my hand.
That's what I was gonna say. Like it just
Yeah,
doesn't
like
look
it looks
comfortable to punch.
it's a very yeah, no. It's like yeah, it would be an uncomfortable punch. Like I'd do it because like Hitler's the worst. But it would like hurt. So I'd say a 6 is a good score for Hitler.
Hmm.
I don't know that actor.
What's the actor? Maybe I know.
Jaden Smith. It's Will Smith's son. I just don't know him.
From Karate Kid.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Trying to
If I don't know if
think.
that's true.
I'm trying to think of like pick ones that you would know.
Which is basically none.
Do you know Ben Shapiro?
I know the name.
They say Ben Shapiro is a 1. That's incorrect.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I don't know much about Ben Shapiro either, but just looking at his face is definitely a 4
Uh-huh.
on the punchable scale. You know?
Uh-huh.
Like it looks like I would punch him and it would not hurt me at all. And I'd probably be able to just like continue my daily business at like unfazed. I could definitely punch Michael Bublé. No, that's not Michael Bublé. Michael Bublé was one of the ones I skipped. I could definitely punch Ben Shapiro in the face.
Okay.
Here's one that I'm bringing up. Did you ever see Narnia: Voyage of the Dawn Treader?
No.
You didn't.
I did not.
And you say you're a Christian. You didn't even bother watching the Narnia movie?
I'm going to kill you.
The Narnia movies were good, in my opinion. They were a lot of fun. Have you read, like, do you know the story
Narnia?
of Voyage of the Dawn Treader?
Is that not Narnia?
It is Narnia.
Is it
Narnia:
called
Voyage of the
Narnia?
Dawn Treader.
Oh, okay. You gotta say Narnia so I understand what you're talking about.
Hold on.
Is that the one where they go into the closet, or is that not the first?
No, that's Lion, the
first
Witch, and the
one?
Wardrobe.
Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I think the guy who plays Eustace in this movie. Let me find his real life name here. It's the guy who plays Eustace. I think he has a punchable face.
Uh-huh.
His name is Will Poulter. I think I'm saying that correctly. Let's see what else he's done. He's a British actor who is in The Maze Runner. He's going to be in Guardians 3. Dang! He was in Midsommar, which I've been told is a weirdo movie. But I think less now than when he was Eustace. But when he was Eustace, he definitely had a punchable face. Here, like him in this picture, Chad, that's a punchable face.
I don't
I'm
see
not
it.
saying it's like a 10 out of 10,
I don't see it.
but it's definitely over 5.
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Doesn't look punchable to me.
Well then, if I may, I think Prince Caspian from Narnia Prince Caspian
Okay.
is one of the most attractive people in the world. Narnia Prince Caspian. Here we go. The Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian. This man is so cool. I mean, Chad, just look at him.
That is hot.
Viewers at home, if you've never seen Chronicles of Narnia, first of all, I highly recommend watching the movies. I think they're pretty good. I haven't revisited them in a while, but I loved them as a kid. But even if you don't want to watch through the whole movies, just Google search Prince Caspian and look at the actor.
I mean, he's not the hottest man I've seen,
but he's nice. Like he is easy on the eyes. Right?
Yeah.
You cannot deny.
I have no strong opinions towards anything we're talking about right now. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I have zero strong opinions, so I cannot give you.
Fine.
I can't give good
Okay,
commentary.
fine. We'll backpedal back to the starter topic of intrusive thoughts.
Okay.
And I'll let you.
I really want to punch you, like right now.
What?
Nothing.
Wait, so this is just an intrusive thought, right? I didn't do something,
What?
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This would be a moment I would stare into the camera, but there's no camera and it keeps throwing me off. Like I keep looking up to like find the camera. I'm like, all right, this is just an audio recording. Do you have any other intrusive thoughts other than choosing violence?
Well, I mean, I talked about kissing people.
Okay.
Okay.
Other than kissing and punching, do you have any other intrusive thoughts?
Any other intrusive thoughts? Any other intrusive thoughts? Well, I went to a friend's college recently over my fall break.
Mm.
And when I went there, I looked around and I was like, I could get this person in so much trouble right now. Like, I went into his room and I was like, well, first thing I thought of was like, I could destroy all of his electronics and like, he'd just be screwed. Like, I could
Oh, you could get our friend in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think I was talking about?
I thought you were like saw a random guy like walking down the street and you're like,
No.
I could get him in trouble.
Because I was just like, because the thing is, he brought me.
Yes.
So if I just start being like a recluse, then I'm gonna get in trouble for sure. But then it's also like,
on him.
Why would you bring this person? So like as we like kept walking around, I kept like asking him like certain questions. Like I was like we went past this like pond with like a bunch of like school fish. Like they all had like little names and stuff.
Oh.
And I was like, what would happen if I just like took one and just let it out to die? I was like, what would be the punishment there? He's like, I don't know. I'd probably get in a lot of trouble. I'm like, all right. Just like random thoughts, because like you could just. It's easy to ruin someone's life.
You know, it is.
Yeah.
Now that I really think about it.
Like, have you ever been driving and you're just like, I could just like
End this
do
man's
so
whole
much
career.
damage right now. I could end
yeah,
so many
it would
lives
do
right
it
now.
all to me as well, I think.
Well, yeah, of course.
Unless I like see a smart car and I'm driving in my Honda SUV. I think it's an SUV. Oh no, it's a CRV. I'm driving my Honda CRV. I'm just like, I could probably push him off the road and nothing would happen to my car. Like, but no, I don't often think I have intrusive thoughts about hurting other people. Cause like other than the punch, but that only happens when like I'm lifting and like my testosterone's going crazy.
But I just feel like I could just take my hands off the wheel. Like the thing is, when they teach you while you're driving, they're like, you're driving a death weapon, and you are.
Yeah.
You can cause so much damage, and like everyone has a car.
That's true.
That's so interesting.
I'm currently reading a Stephen King book about somebody who realized how much damage they could do with a car and they like killed a bunch of people because it's a Stephen King book.
Of course.
Highly recommend Mr. Mercedes.
That's the
I've
book right
seen,
there, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've read the first like 4 chapters, and I'm intrigued. I'm enjoying it.
I'm not a heavy reader.
Neither am I. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have not dyslexia, but what the person who told me I have it calls a reading disorder.
Okay.
It just basically means I read at a lower reading level, or I did. I'm
Yeah.
technically up to like code now with air quotes.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, standards are low. No
Oh
offense.
my gosh.
No offense. No offense, but I've heard you read.
Yeah,
I've heard
like
you read.
I struggle, but like I can get through at like the speed and level like
Yeah.
you're supposed to. At least that's where I was at the end of high school, where they were like having me practice a lot. I have not read very much since then, and reading has gotten a lot harder, and that's why I'm trying to read more.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that was your reasoning.
Oh yeah. It's
Well,
because like there's so much reading homework in college,
yeah.
and it's just so hard to want to do any of it when reading is as hard as it is.
Mm-hmm. I feel like schools, when they provide, I feel like you should be given more freedom towards like books, specific books, in education. Because I feel like the fact that the schools are like you have to read this book and then like it's such a drag, it can just kill your like
Love for reading.
your like desire to read like anything.
Yeah.
And so I feel like what would be really interesting for a school to do is to like they still have like a set like type of book you need to read,
Yeah.
but just like there's a lot more variety,
I was
like to
gonna
give
say,
like
even if there's
options.
that like reading list,
Yeah.
because like I understand reading lists, but like I had a teacher who was like, you have summer reading, but don't worry, there is a reading list, and it had 3 books on it. And I was like, I can read 1984, I Am Malala, or a war. I don't even remember what the third book was because
Those were the titles
nobody
too.
read the third book.
Yeah.
So I have no memory of what the third book was because everybody was like, that's the stupid option. Like I'm not going to
That's
read.
the one that will take us a long time.
Yeah,
So we're not gonna
I have
read
no
that.
memory of what book number 3 was,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember that like I ended up having to read I Am Malala as my first ever high school reading book because I wanted to read 84 because that's what everybody was reading.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "No, I already read that with your brother last year. We're gonna read I Am Malala so that I can get a refresh." Which like understandable, mother,
Mhm.
but also I am your son that doesn't know how to read.
Yeah. Mother,
Let
I'm
me pick the book
illiterate.
I think is interesting.
The thing about I read 1984, and the thing about that book, I hated it when I read it. Like I hated it.
Really?
Yeah. And when I hated it, I was like the plot line's so bad, and then they're like, you just hate it because it's depressing, and maybe there was a point to that, but I think I realized why I don't like the book.
Why don't you like 1984, Chad?
So when I had to read it for school, I waited until the last day of summer vacation to read it,
Oh my gosh, you were one of those
and
guys.
I I I am one of those guys,
Oh,
and
true. That's true.
I would I literally I remember getting the DVD, like the well at least not the DVD, but
The
like
audiobook?
the CD like disc
Okay.
audio, and I like put it into my Xbox 360, laid on my couch, and just spent hours just listening through this audiobook. Because now I listen to like on like my phone at like us like times 3 speed because I can like understand that.
Oh.
But this was like before when like I had to read this person narrate because audio narration is so slow.
And they always sound so tired.
Yeah, like, why
Because
can't
like
they?
every audio read there was one audiobook that I listened to that was actually like very well done. Like they did voices for the characters and they like it was really, really well done. I think the actor I could be wrong on this. So somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong if you've made it as far as this is. Um I think the guy who played Gollum in the like Hobbit and in the Lord of the Rings books, I think he did an audiobook. Like he read for the audiobook of The Hobbit. At least one of like there's probably multiple because that book is really like popular. He read for at least one of them and he did voices for everybody. And because he's like a trained actor, apparently it's a very entertaining audiobook
Mm.
because it doesn't feel like an audiobook. It feels like a trained actor performing this book for you.
That's cool. Well, I wish there was more audiobooks like that.
Yeah, I wish they got like
Because then I'd
voice
like want to
actors.
listen to the audiobook.
Because most of the time the audiobook is read by like the author or the producer.
Yeah.
Get like voice actors to do audiobooks.
That'd be fire.
Like listen, I don't know how to read, but I'd do audiobooks. Like I think it would be like I really enjoy a good story if I could like have fun making character voices and like work to make reading more entertaining for kids like me who's just like hard to get into a book. Like if I could do that, I'd love to do that. And like I enjoy doing funny voices. Like if I get like 3 people to help me with audiobook, it also helps you track like the book better, at least for me, because like if I can hear, like I can remember voices.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I can hear a person talking, I'm like, oh right, that guy also said this thing, which means he's this character. Like it helps me like keep track of everything.
I remember there was this one book that I read. Like you just unlocked this memory in my head.
It's a core memory.
It's a core memory. Is deep down in my head because it got to the point where like I struggled really hard to like even listen to audiobooks because like my brain just did not care. So, but there was this one book. It was called I think it was called Frank Einstein and the Antimatter Motor. That's what it was called. It was a child. It was a children's book. And what I ended up doing was I played the audio and I would take out like my plush toys and just like pretend play while the thing's going on. So like I remember I took out like my Tails plush toy and then it'd be like, this is Frank Einstein, and then like Sonic the Hedgehog, like this is the other character, and then that's how I would like kind of go at it. I think I did the same thing with A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh my gosh.
When we read that.
That movie.
The
Hold on.
book.
You finish your talk about the book, and then I will go at it at the movie.
Well, I basically finished that whole thing, but like the book itself wasn't too bad.
No, the Wrinkle in
I
Time book
enjoyed
is
the
like
book.
actually like it's not my favorite book in the world, but I understand how it has like withstood the test of time. Like it's a good book. The new like Disney remake of that movie is the worst movie I have ever seen. And I say that with confidence.
Honestly, I agree.
Because listen, if nothing
Strongly
else,
agree.
even if I think a movie is bad, I will always finish a movie, except for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I could not get through that movie. And like, here's the thing. It wasn't like, oh, I just got bored and so I turned it off. I was in a phone call, like Discord call with like 5 friends and we were all like making fun of the movie. So it wasn't even like, oh, well, it's a good movie to make fun of with friends. No, it's just that bad that even when I was bullying the movie with my friends, I was still bored out of my mind. And the only part that brought us any entertainment is the part where Mrs. What's It or Mrs. Who's It or one of the Mrs.'s turns into a giant piece of a lettuce to fly them through the air, which already gets me laughing enough. Because she's like, I'm going to turn into a beautiful creature. And they all talk about how beautiful she is. She is a giant leaf of lettuce. And that's it. Like, I'm not exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, wow, you are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. She's a piece of lettuce, my guy. Like, but the part that really frosted my flakes
What?
was this girl is like a science girl. You know, like the main girl, I can't remember her name.
Meg?
Meg, yes. Meg is like daughter of these 2 scientists that like figured out how to wrinkle time and like she understands all of it. She's like the nerd character, so she's made like she is a smart character. She, in this movie, they're riding on the back of the giant piece of flying lettuce, as you do. And she, out of nowhere, like looks around and then just goes, 1, 2, 3, and jumps. While like she's like on all 4s on the back of this piece of lettuce, and she like pushes off and like lifts her legs and lifts her like arms back. And she just starts hovering over this actively moving, flying piece of romaine lettuce. She's just hovering perfectly over top of it. And so the guy that's with them turns to Meg and he's like, what are you doing? And she spouts off some random like conglomeration of science words and then finishes it off with also known as lift. What this movie claimed was that the way the scientific like principle of lift works is like wind goes under you and you can just fly. Not to mention that she is on a moving piece of like flying equipment. Like she's not like it's not like the indoor skydiving
It's
because
not like
that is
attached any
no,
like
that is
either.
how lift works. Like that's understand. Like when you're in the indoor skydiving like tube
Yeah.
and wind is just shooting like straight at your chest and you're going like up and down and that's about it.
Well, I
And
mean,
like
like
you
you're
can
not tied,
angle.
as in like you're not like it's gonna
No.
keep going. You
So
know?
she claims that the way she is hovering and following like basically a plane, like she's basically standing on top of a plane, jumps in the air, and then stays hovering over the plane and just says lift is the reason for it. I never took like physics at like a high school level, but I took physics at an elementary school, like middle school level, and I don't think that's how it works. If there's like, again, if anyone made it this far and I'm a big dumb idiot, leave it in the comments and let me know because I keep telling this to people and I don't want people to look at me and be like, you're the biggest idiot I've ever seen. That is how lift works. If that's not how lift works, I need to tell a lot of my friends because all of us were like, I don't think that's how lift works.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut about whether or not that works, so that I'm always in the right, regardless of what people figure out.
That's probably smart, but like that was my big like no way of that movie
The thing about this movie is
about
that
Wrinkle in Time.
Wrinkle in Time,
Okay.
and I'm not gonna say anything new. It was very like boring to watch.
There's
Like
just like
there
stuff
was
is on the screen, but
nothing,
nothing
there
is
was
happening.
nothing, yeah. And I remember like, cause someone, I remember who it was, they like said, she suggested it. Cause it was like, oh, the flying lettuce
Yes.
thing is really funny, it's
She
really funny.
suggested it just so we could laugh at the piece of lettuce. And we were like, oh, and I never seen this movie. It looked not bad.
Yeah.
The only reason she had seen it was the middle, I think it was 8th grade was when this movie came out.
Uh-huh.
Was the 8th grade like English teacher was like, if you go see this movie because we're reading the book in class, if you show me the ticket stub, I will give you extra credit.
I remember this.
Even in the theaters, this friend couldn't like watch the movie. And
Yeah.
she's not the kind to just get distracted. Like she can watch a movie, but not even she could like pay attention. Like she started just like making stupid videos of what was happening on screen in the movie theater because she just couldn't like handle watching the movie. It's a bad movie.
It was not fun. It was not fun. I don't think like people just kept logging on because like we got to the point like, oh, oh, we're watching more.
Yeah, and it didn't turn off because like even I was like, wow, this movie up to here has been like all set up, but I'm sure it'll get like at least something will start happening.
I don't know. Did anyone even finish it?
No.
I think. Did no one finish it? Because
No,
I remember
nobody
like
finished.
oh
Like
my gosh.
it wasn't even like we stopped the call. We stopped the movie.
Uh,
Like people stayed on that call for a little while after that and just talked about how boring the movie was. Like we could not finish it. Chad, do you have anything else you wish to say
um. Hmm.
about dream? Let's confine about dreams and intrusive thoughts. Do you have anything left to say?
Intrusive thoughts. Dream for intrusive thoughts. Um. I guess not. I feel like I would have more things would come, but no, I got nothing.
All right, I'm also. So I think we have reached the end of our first episode of Game and Talk. The first episode of the first, hopefully reoccurring series on the channel. We did it. I don't know how long this video will be, but it won't be probably the longest on our channel, unless it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, I guess. If you have, maybe we could start doing a thing where we also take a comment suggestion of something we should watch. So if you manage to sit and listen until the very end of this video,
Or if you skip to the very end of this video,
until the very end, comment
why the heck did you do that? Go back to the very beginning and give us the view.
Yes, please. But if you have any suggestions of something you want to hear us talk about, leave it. And then we can start doing, I bring a topic, Chad brings a topic, and there's a viewer topic that we pick together. So there we go. First episode done.